eyes on me. Everything's gonna be alright. And when we get there, I'ma see a pretty, pretty, pretty young thing. I'ma ask her to take my hand, head to the floor, and we gon' dance. And when we get there, best believe we're gonna do a two-step. Ain't no drama in here, so don't stress. Step to the right, then slide to the left.
Night show. We are back from fall break. Brand new show we have for you tonight, so we hope you enjoy. Well, listen, we're back with the latest in sports, fashion, movie reviews, hot topics, and of course the best indie music out there. Now, later in the show, we welcome Marian Hatcher, who was a ex-prostitute, drug addict, and even homeless at one point in her life. But she turned her life around, and for years she's been a model citizen. She has dedicated her life to bringing awareness to sex trafficking, help combat that. She is a pastor. She is clean and sober. She received awards from President Jimmy Carter, President Barack Obama, just an outstanding citizen. So you definitely want to hear her inspiring story and what she's doing to help prevent other people getting into sex trafficking. Hot topics, we're talking about everything crazy in the world. You know, we are living in some very interesting times, so definitely stick around for all that. I want to remind you all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, and of course, our official website, thestevenknightshow.com. Connect with us. And artists out there, submit your music. We want to play it on the show. We need your radio-friendly MP3. Submit it to submissions at thestevenknightshow.com. We'll review them, definitely put them in our rotation. All right. When we come back, hot topics. Right back after this.
All night long, she 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 all on me. Tell her, come get this, she follow me. Tell me what you came for. Did you come to play with it? Did you come to be my bad girl? Hey, damn it, be ashamed, gripping on your waist. Go on ahead now. We grinding, we wildin', cause we don't care. We wildin', we rubbing like no one's here. If I push up on it, will you go there? Trust me, you'll go there. All night long, she all on me. Tell her, come get this, she follow me. All night long, she all on me. When she want that, she call on me. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl. 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 Back up one time, cock it back on it. Back up one time, cock it back on it. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl. Tell me, can you handle it? Tell me right now before we walk out this club, girl. Hey, baby, where your hands? Thought you had a man, no, damn, baby. We grindin', we wildin', cause we don't care. Hey. We wildin', we rubbin' like no one's here. Wait, if I push up on it, will you go there? Hey, baby, trust me, you'll go there. All night long, she all on me. Tell her, come get this, she follow me. All night long, she all on me. When she want that, she call on me. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl. 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 Back up one time, cock it back on it. Back up one time, cock it back on it. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl. All night long, she all on me. Tell her, come get this, she follow me. All night long, she all on me. When she want that, she call on me. All night long, she 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 all night long. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl. 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 Back up one time, cock it back on it. Back up one time, cock it back on it. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl. I'ma get that girl, let's get that girl.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Miss Parker, how's it going?
Hey, Stephen. Happy Monday and welcome back.
Happy Monday. How was your fall break?
It was great.
I don't know. Was doing anything exciting? Go anywhere?
I don't remember how long we've been off.
About 3 weeks.
But I think I went to Chicago.
Oh yeah.
And then did a cabin trip trip with you guys for Ty's birthday.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Cabin trip. What's up with you, Gary?
Hey, sir. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Did you have a good fall break?
I did. Got a lot of work done. Started filming yet another film. Started production, so I'm excited about that.
That's real good. Well, you have to keep us posted on all that, what's going on.
Indeed.
All right. Well, our question of the day is, what's something that will automatically disqualify a potential significant other? Ms. Parker, what's a disqualifying trait?
I think I have a few things, but I think that having a similar mindset is important. So for me, someone who is open to growth, individually and as a couple, and probably if it's something that an easier one for me would probably be someone who is not into health and fitness, just because it's such a huge part of my life. I couldn't imagine someone who is completely not attached to that word and me being so attached to it. I just don't see how that could possibly work.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Shika?
Number one, an all-time favorite, and forever will be lies. I cannot stand liars. No lies. And in this world of cyberness, and more people are meeting online, I noticed that a lot of people are safe in their bubble of being online.
Right.
And I don't know why, I don't know how, where they figure. It's just they don't put the dots together to know that eventually we're going to meet, and we don't really live in the cyberspace, so the truth is going to be found out. Because a lot of people lie online. Let's just call it what it is. A lot of people lie online. And then when it comes time to meet, all your online lies catch up with you in real life. So no lies. No lies.
Very true. I think for me, one thing would be someone who's stagnant in life, who doesn't want to step outside their comfort zone or progress in life or grow and mentally and spiritually and all that. Someone who's just complacent in life. I think that would be a disqualifier for me. But everyone tweet us at Stephen Knight Show, SHO, and let us know what's something that would automatically disqualify a potential significant other for you. All right, a lot's been going on in Hot Topics since we were on fall break, but we'll pick up with, I know everyone's heard about the sergeant, David Johnson, who was killed in Africa. Well, the widow of the Army sergeant killed in Africa said that President Trump made her upset and cry because he couldn't remember her husband's name during the controversial conversation we were talking about. She said, it made me cry because I was very angry at the tone of his voice and how he said he couldn't remember my husband's name. Her name is Maisha Johnson. She was on Good Morning America this morning and gave an interview. She said the only way he remembered my husband's name was because he told me that he had my husband's report in front of him, and that's when he actually said David. She said, I heard him stumbling, trying to remember my husband's name, and that's what hurt me the most, because if my husband is fighting for our country and risked his life for our country, why can't you remember his name? And that's what made me upset and cry even more, because my husband was an awesome soldier. She wanted to say that he, I'm not familiar with the military in terms of the ranking, but he got whatever ranking he was. It usually takes people 4 to 5 years, and he did it in 3. And she's thinking if he was alive today, he would probably be even surpass that, because he was so good at his job. You all know this all came to light when Congresswoman Wilson, she was in the car with the family when 45 called her to give his condolences, and she heard him say, well, he knew what he signed up for, but I'm sure it still hurts. And that's got all this controversy. What are your thoughts? You've been following the story. What are your thoughts on this?
I have. again, we are in another situation where that president doesn't know what to say out of his mouth. Mm-hmm. It would have been beyond awesome for him to at least have notes in front of him before he made that phone call.
Right.
As to his name, and even written out what he was going to say, because, you know, he doesn't do well off the cuff at all. He doesn't do well. And being as though the circumstances surrounding that officer's death in an ambush that is skeptical at this point. We don't know all the details of it because it looks a little shady. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you cleared out the area but you left his body. All that alone, you should have gotten the condolence call correct.
Right.
Based on everything else that came before it. You damn sure should have had that correct. Mm-hmm. Then the discounting of the congresswoman, and saying that she was listening in on a phone call and that she shouldn't have been listening in on the phone call and she was eavesdropping. That woman is a family member as far as they're concerned, to the point where she was a principal of his father's in school. Mm-hmm. Him and his brother both were in programs, coming up. They were in training to be political figures through her. So who are you to say that she was eavesdropping on the phone call? The family considers her a family member. So as far as I'm concerned, her being in the car, she's another family member that you're still talking to.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Ms. Parker, have you thoughts on this?
I'm kind of over the whole conversation because it's been going on for about a week or so. I think that, it's just another thing that has brought light to the fact that that the President of the United States is not qualified for this job.
Yeah.
The simple fact that you don't know how to handle a call with a grieving Army member's family is just totally, to me, lack of experience. Obviously doesn't know what he's doing, and he has displayed that in every area of where this presidency is important and what makes this role important. At every point where there is a part where he gets the chance to prove himself as being qualified for the job, and take away the fact that he's a jerk. There have been jerks in the office before, but at the bare minimum, they knew how to do their jobs, right? They knew at the bare minimum what was required for them to put on, to at least look to the public as if they're qualified for the job.
Right.
He doesn't even display that. So I think I'm more over the personal attacks with him. Yeah, we all know he's crazy. He's not the smartest person in the room, and we know those things. But I think at this point, I'm just I'm hoping that his supporters can see, okay, regardless of if we like him as a personal thing and we feel like, we needed him to be in the office to make us feel better about our position as a U.S. citizen, regardless of that, let's put that aside, personal feelings. Does he qualify for the job? Does he stand as a president at times when it's important to make decisions that make this country feel like they have a leader? No.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's where I am with him.
And then the fact that, the widow, who's 25 years old, pregnant, and she has a son as well. They had a son as well. She went on, did her interview today, and he's tweeting, kind of, going against what she's saying. Where someone said on CNN today, a very good point. They said that as the president, the widow gets the last word. If she feels, some kind of way about the conversation that was had, let her have that. And if anything, call, apologize. I'm sorry if something was misconstrued. And, we need to grieve with this woman. Let her grieve and be that support. And unfortunately, he's incapable of doing that. So it's very sad, very sad. But like you said, every day is something new.
Can I just add one more thing? And I don't like making everything a race issue. I really, really don't. But there's a vast difference and a harsh contrast from the widow from earlier this year, who he highlighted and upheld, to now this widow now, who just happens to be African American descent. Is it me? Is it coincidental, or because I have problems with that?
Yeah. All right. Well, on a lighter note, Black China apparently had the Kardashians shook. They, according to Radar Online, they're reporting that Kris Jenner pulled the stops to beat China in court. and hiring investigators was her next step. This from Bossip.com. Says an insider revealed that they wanted vengeance, not because China hurt Rob, but because she insulted the family and dragged her name through the mud. Chris is organizing the thing with Chloe and Courtney's help and Kim's support. It was Chris' idea to hire private detectives to tell China's every move, take pictures, and damaging videos. They got the inside track of what China's doing 24/7 and won't rest until they see China go down in flames. What are your thoughts on this?
It's funny to me. It's funny. It's I can't believe that there are real people actually acting like this in real life. You know, They're taking this reality show stuff to the streets. But on another note, I do really think that Blac Chyna probably has some information that could probably ruin their quote-unquote brand. I really do.
Yeah, it's very interesting going to the extreme. They're looking for something to hold over, and you can tell that. You know, this is rich people problem. They got all this money, and they worry about what.
I'm paying that rich people problem.
And then at the end of the day, Kris Jenner, I'm talking to you. At the end of the day, regardless of what this woman has done or what she probably will do, she's still the mother of your grandchild.
Exactly. Yeah. Rich people problems. All right, Tiana Taylor, she must have had an amazing weekend. She received, she's a huge Janet Jackson fan. If you remember at the MTV Awards earlier this year, she paid homage to Janet with wearing an outfit similar to what Janet wore back in the 90s when she received the same award that Janet received. Well, over the weekend, Janet Jackson FaceTimed Tiana and posted on social media. She said, "I meant what I said. You're so beautiful. Can't wait to meet you in person. Love and blessings, Jay." What would you do if your idol, someone you idolize, your kid, FaceTimes you unexpectedly?
Listen, if Oprah on this phone, I'm hanging up on everybody. I don't want to say I idolize anybody. I'm not a super fan of anyone. My nature and just who I am as a person is not I don't admire people from that level. Like, I don't see people as like, oh wow, like I'm not impressed easily like that. My inspiration is more of who they are as a person. Like, I'm not. So I think when you say idolize, a lot of people, it's because of the fame that they may have, the fortune that they may have. I think I look beyond that. Even since I was a kid, I never really liked anyone because of who they were to the public, but I think more so of who they are as a person and how they've impacted, how their presence here on this earth has impacted people, right? And so I think for me, that's why I like Oprah so much. And I never really liked her show. Like, I wasn't a big Oprah watcher as far as her talk show, but I've always been a fan of who she is and what she stood for, and her values, her core values, and how she's able to really allow the universe to use her, and those type of things is like what I admire about her. So I think for me, I would want to like get as much of her energy and just feel as much of that energy to kind of inspire me to do the same. And I would just be over the top, but it wouldn't be in a woo type of way. It would be more in a wow, like here I am. I'm able to now get the information, or maybe get some guidance that I may need to maybe shine my light a little bit brighter.
Right.
In that way.
That makes a lot of sense. But you get.
Pretty much what Ms. Parker said. I think you all know that I love Faith. I love her dearly, Faith Evans. And it started out with the art, and then just watching certain situations and how she handled things going through her life, how she handled them with poise, and she was so demure about certain things, and how she had this faith about her. And actually meeting her outside of the art and getting to know her as a person, it's real, and that just makes her more dynamic to me. So it only compounded what was already there. So meeting the person behind whatever brought you to them makes it more profound.
Yeah, and then especially when you meet them and they're who you thought they were in terms of what they put out there, it's not like, oh my God, the person's a jerk, and we're like, you know what I mean? I think that was. Well, listen, let's take a quick break. Right back after some music. Right back after this.
a memory, and I tried to erase you from my mind, and I just can't seem to get over you, 'cause something happens every time I try. Now I'm trying hard to move on, yeah, and I'm trying hard not to hold on to the memories of what we used to be, but something happens every time I try. Baby, I'm trying to get over you, but there's something about the things you do to me. Every time you walk in the room, my knees get weak, I'm still into you. Trying, yeah, I'm trying hard to get over you, but it's hard, I'm still loving you. Now you say that you have moved on from me, but when I looked into your eyes, and you tried to take back all the love that you gave to me, but something happens every time you try. Maybe we should think this over. Maybe give love one more chance. Then we can find again all the love we had within. We will never know until we try. Baby, I'm trying to get over you, but there's something about the things you do to me. Every time you walk in the room, my knees get weak, I'm still into you. I'm trying, yeah, I'm trying hard to get over you, but it's hard, I'm still loving you. I know if you give love one more chance, you will see that I'm a better man. And when we were together, baby, just give it one more try. 'Cause baby, I'm trying to get over you, but there's something about the things you do to me. Every time you walk in the room, my knees get weak, I'm still into you. I'm trying hard to get over you, but I'm still loving you. I'm trying to get over you, but there's something about the things you do to me. Every time you walk in the room, my knees get weak, I'm still into you. I'm trying hard to get over you, but it's hard, I'm still loving you.
That shit gon' bang. Niggas won't fuck with that shit.
Hey, Prano, what's poppin'? Yeah.
Hey, yo, Saint Soprano.
Wall Street Bully.
We niggas already snow sticks. It's Philly in this bitch.
Bully line, bitch.
Moolery. Black Forbes legend.
Big B's, bitch.
Stay proud.
Ain't not bigger than a motherfucking beat on nigga. Double the 1G gang. Do this for the gang, bang. You a dub nigga, bang, bang. I'm a oldest real right. Hug life, stack up in the chain gang. Ran up from the plug twice. Dug life, feet blood, nigga, bang, bang. Red light, green light, same lane. I'm oldest bang, bang. Do this for the gang, bang. You a dub nigga, bang, bang. I'm a oldest real right. Hug life, stack up in the chain gang. Ran up from the plug twice. Dug life, feet blood, nigga, bang, bang. Red light, green light, same lane. I'm oldest bang, bang.
I don't gang bang, but my gang do. Ain't nothing bigger than that beat, bitch. Yeah, it's me, bitch. Bully like clip drip, long ass gang. I'll pull that shit, get the hitting shit, get your wig pushed back. Bitch nigga on the plate, dub, plug ass nigga. I shine for mine, what your life like, what a thug about nigga. Niggas shine up and get lined up. What's your body count, nigga? My niggas stained up, don't get flamed up. Don't get your body felt, nigga. Dig a hole 6 feet, more sunny, more east, black. Slide booty, big heat, deuce, street strike. SP, GK, yeah, that big beat of flag. It's that bully gang, and I pull it gang, I put your body in the bag.
Do this for the gang, bang. You a dumb nigga, bang, bang. I'ma hold it real right. Hurt life, stack up in the chain gang. Run up from the plug twice, thug life, we blood nigga, bang, bang. Red light, green light, same lane, I'ma hold it, bang, bang. Do this for the gang, bang. You a dumb nigga, bang, bang. I'ma hold it real right. Hurt life, stack up in the chain gang. Run up from the plug twice, thug life, we blood nigga, bang, bang. Red light, green light, same lane, I'ma hold it, bang, bang.
Said you heard a nigga gang bang. All my niggas do the same thing. Get a brother, they gon' take aim. Red light, green light, bang, bang. All I gotta say is go when it's green light, go. Pull up to the block at the fucking light show. Everybody like where the fucking lights go. Bad motherfucker, I ain't talking my go. Say you all heard of Shine Gang. Bully family, my gang. Said you all heard of Shine Gang. Bully family, my gang.
It's a bully to a bully.
It's the bully with the bullies.
Get the word and they gon' pull it.
Chopper with the full clip. Make them do a full flip. I ain't with the bullshit. It's a bull to a matador. That is what the bull get. I feel it in the air. These niggas, they reply.
I make them feel it in their head.
Why the fuck you think the clock is on?
Do this for the gang, bang. You a dumb nigga, bang, bang. I'ma hold it real right. Hurt life, stack up in the chain gang. Run up from the plug twice, thug life, we blood nigga, bang, bang. Red light, green light, same lane, I'ma hold it, bang, bang. Do this for the gang, bang. You a dumb nigga, bang, bang. I'ma hold it real right. Hurt life, stack up in the chain gang. Run up from the plug twice, thug life, we blood nigga, bang, bang. Red light, green light, same lane, I'ma hold it, bang, bang. Do this for the gang, bang. You a dumb nigga, bang, bang. I'ma hold it real right. Hurt life, stack up in the chain gang. Run up from the plug twice, thug life, we blood nigga, bang, bang. Red light, green light, same lane, I'ma hold it, bang, bang. Bang, bang.
What's up, y'all? We are June's Diary, and you're listening to The Stephen Knight Show.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. I want to remind you, we were nominated this year for 3 ATL Hottest Entertainment Awards. If you could please go to atlhottest.com. There's a link on our website, atlhottest.com, and vote Hottest Radio Show, The Stephen Knight Show, Hottest Online Radio Personality, and Hottest Rising Superstar, Stephen Knight. Please vote for us for that. We definitely appreciate you. All right, more hot topics. So you've heard about the beef with Tyrese and what's his name? The Rock. Tyrese and The Rock. Tyrese felt some kind of way that The Rock got a spinoff from their Fast and Furious franchise. He thought that, I don't know why. He just felt some kind of way. He felt like that they should be doing this together, and he thought that would be in the way of their project, the franchise that they're working on. Well, apparently he's putting that beef aside. He says, I know I've been on one lately. I know it all feels reckless, and it's like a lot. And for that, I understand to my fans, supporters, and folks who may not decided not to support my bad. I just so happen to be different. If you're a new fan and supporter, you're unfairly aware of my activism, me being very vocal about politics, and very more importantly, me not being the guy that do too well with bullies in the business, online or in life. What are your thoughts on Tyrese's statements?
Listen, at this point, I think I like 45 a little bit better than I like Tyrese at this point. I am so over him. I hear his name one more time. I don't know who has more of an issue as far as the ego, narcissist, just annoying him at 45. But if he's second, he's pretty damn close to one. I'm sorry. He's pretty close to one. I mean, he is the most narcissistic person ever. Everything is always about him. You got a bigger issue than your ego. I'm just like beyond over. I even threatened the Shed Room, which I follow to keep me in touch, to keep updated with entertainment news. Right. Right now, I said, y'all post Tyrese post, I'm gonna follow y'all. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think it's ridiculous. Like now, why why is it bothering you that another man chose to make a career move on his career? How is that affecting? How is that any of your business?
Right. And I think, Chike, you said it before, that with him getting that spinoff, that could create new opportunities for him to come do a cameo or, who knows what it would be. But instead of, I think that's it. It goes down to, when someone gets something.
Listen. Hollywood is all about relationships. And at one point in time, he had a solid relationship with Mr. Dwayne.
Yeah.
And if he kept that intact, who knows where he could go with this?
Exactly.
He could wind up being a producer. But at the end of the day, as much as you squawk and as much as you talk about it, at the end of the day, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is more of a bankable entity than Tyrese Gibson. Sorry.
Well, Tyrese don't feel that way. I mean, you think he's the biggest star walking the earth. And another thing is, too, The Rock already, and The Rock is actually a good person. His character has shown it. Unlike Tyrese, who is like this fake, fraudulent, deep person, right?
Right.
So his thing is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but he responded to a comment Tank made, and because Tank was being funny and was like, you know what, I'm looking for an opportunity, brother, or whatever, and I would love to be on the show. And he responded, he was like, I got you. So that's what drives out. That's how they jump off the wall. I don't know. But
right, jump off the window.
Off the wall. They're about to jump off the bridge somewhere.
Wow. All right. Well, our last story, I know everyone's heard about the director Harvey Weinstein, that he has, over 38 women have said, was it over 30? I think it was more than that, have said that he has come out and said that he sexually harassed or abused them. Well, now director James Toback, I believe he directed Black and White and Two Girls and a Guy. He's 72 years old. 38 women have come out against him now. Some excerpts from the people that were interviewed said the way he presented it, it was like, this is how things are done, said actress Adrienne LaValle. Said in 2008 hotel room encounter that ended with Toback trying to rub his crotch against her leg. When she recoiled, he stood up and ejaculated in his pants. She said, I felt like a prostitute and an utter disappointment to myself, my parents, my friends, and I deserve not to tell anyone. Then another one, in a weird sense, I thought this was a test of whether I'm a real artist and serious about acting, remembered Star Rinaldi, who was an aspiring actress when Toback approached her in Central Park about 15 years ago. He always wanted me to read for him in a hotel or come back to his apartment. Like, how serious are you about your craft? I'll tell one more story. He told me he loved nothing more than to masturbate while looking into my eyes, said Louise Post, who met Toback in 1987 while attending Barnard College. Now, guitarist and vocalist for the indie rock band, she said going to his apartment had been a source of shame for the past 30 years, and I allowed myself to be so gullible. So they're saying how he tried to manipulate people. And, I mean, what are your thoughts on all these people in Hollywood coming out against these huge directors?
It's been a culture forever.
Yeah.
The casting couch has always been around. And it's been the way of Hollywood for such a long time that it's old hat. And I'm not saying that it's right, and I'm not making excuses for it, but Angelina Jolie has gone on record even saying that she falls in love with her leading men a little bit every time that she's with them. And she's known to have affairs with a lot of men that she's been in movies with that were her leading men. That's how her and Brad Pitt got together.
Yeah, exactly.
And keep in mind, he was a married man at the time. So it works both ways, but it's only something can only be done about it when you speak upon it.
That's
and you
true.
have to speak upon it like it's a wrong done to you. You can't, I'm not saying that you can't because they do it all the time, but it doesn't look good when you play the game and then you get what you want and then you come back and then you talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's been going on for such a long time, and then people wonder how this has been going on for so long. Well, it's been going on for so long because people let it happen, and then you allow for them. You get paid off. You know, they go to a settlement, and an allotment of money is paid to you to be quiet. You accept it, and then you move on, and then you want to come back and you want to talk about it again later on. Don't accept the payment. If you're wrong, talk about it, speak about it, own it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they said that's where the women get in trouble when they accept the payment, you know, instead of speaking.
Yeah. Even with this Bill O'Reilly thing, something just came out where they found out, they renewed his contract after they found out that he paid $32 million. Now, what kind of situation has happened that you pay $32 million to someone?
But then he said,
right.
He also
well,
said,
can I give you guys my opinion from a woman's standpoint?
Absolutely.
I can definitely appreciate you guys' perspective from a man's standpoint, and I get where you're coming from, but I do want you guys to be open-minded as far as seeing it from a woman's standpoint, too. So you're in the industry where 90% of the decision makers are old white men. This is your career. This is your dream. And most of the time when you go into that field, you're impressionable because you're a young woman. You're out there alone. Most of the decision makers are made by male, and you feel, even in regular society, sometimes we're made to feel that the only way that we can get through or get by is through our sexuality, right?
Right.
So as a woman, you never really feel safe that your talent alone is going to carry you anywhere, even as a regular person. I'm speaking from experience myself. So it's never an issue of these women are putting up with it. If you want to be an actress, it's kind of like that's just what happens. So it becomes normalized. I'm not saying that it's right, but it becomes normalized. Just like in any other situation where victims or mentality becomes normalized because they feel like that's just what happens. And then everybody around is acting like, oh, that's just what happened. And 90% of the people who are acting like, oh, this is just what happened are decision makers, and they're male. So as a woman, it's very challenging to feel safe enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to stand for this, because you don't want to lose your income. You know what I mean? If you want to be an independent person taking care of yourself, there's a lot that you have to think about. And another reason why these fellas are being accepted is because once you do come forward as a voice, you will never work in that industry.
That's true.
Never.
Yeah.
So what you do, you go sit your butt down, you run, and you hide. No one, I'll be very honest with you. Not many women will ever come up and say, I've been sexually abused, when they haven't. It is an embarrassing topic.
Right.
It kills your spirit. It's a shameful, mask that we all wear, that most of us wear, that no one wants to admit to. It's not something that just easily talked about. It's things people go to therapy for their whole lives.
Yeah,
this
true.
is a serious thing that most women deal with. It's not when women usually say they've been sexually abused, 90% of the times I believe them. It's very rare. I'm like, you know what? As a woman, it's not very easy for you to come out and say you've been sexually abused.
Right.
Now there are some women out there who may have some other issues going on and may want to lie about it, but it's very rare. It is very rare that a woman will come and accuse me of being sexually abused when they're not. But I just want you guys to for a moment, just, you can still keep your perception. You can still feel the way you feel. But for a second, just try to see it from that standpoint. Put yourself in that shoes. You feel vulnerable. You feel like,
absolutely.
If I talk, I lose my job. This happens in regular day life.
Yeah.
So I can just imagine where in the entertainment industry, where it's all about connections and who you know and everyone is talking, and how easy it is for you to be blackballed and for your name to get out there as a person not to work with, and your career is ruined. Imagine that pressure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, Whoopi Goldberg talked about this on The View, when she said that she thinks that what women need to do is to, again, communicate with each other and to come together, because you get enough women talking that have experienced this. You know what I mean? She's saying there how there's power in numbers, and how, it's hard to do almost one person against an industry or an industry giant, but multiple people. She thinks that's what kind of could help with this kind of stuff that happens all the time, unfortunately. But, yeah, great perspective.
Women support, what she said, it's going to take women supporting women. Women say, you know what, we're going to make this doesn't happen, and we're going to all walk in there and say, we know what you're doing, and if it doesn't stop as a group, we're going to say something.
Absolutely.
So where the women no longer get along, because once you can't fire 5 women, because it's easy for you to fire one and make up something for why you're doing it, but you can't fire 5 women that are yelling at the same time and saying the same thing about being sexually abused by the same person. So she's saying that if it's you in an office, most likely it's happening to other women. Talk about it. Bring it up. See what others are talking about. And share your experience. And then confront it as a group, because it's less likely for a manager or somebody in power to say, I'm going to fire you. I'm going to fire 6 of y'all. Because then that becomes a class law, right? And so and there's numbers in power and communicating and being vulnerable enough to say, this is happening to me with other women. And then allowing women as a woman who may be on the receiving side, allow other women to be able to come to you and say that to you and feel safe in saying that to you. It's what people are saying.
Exactly. Yep. Great point. All right, Ms. Parker, thank you. Chike and Ms. Parker, thank you so much. Chike, you'll be on for movie reviews. Again, remind you, all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, The Stephen Knight Show, our website, thestephenknightshow.com. We'll be right back after this.
Baby, if you only knew things that I wanted to do to you when we first met, thinking like the boys do, then you got me with my nose wide open, tables turned, now I'm the one who's overprotected. I see them looking when they pass, what I'm gonna do with all that ass? Your beauty is unmatched, I can't help it, I got it bad. I am just human, and I'm possessive, a bit jealous. So you better tell them that you are taken. There is no mistaking. Don't you know that you're mine? Let them know that you're mine. And I know that these dudes gon' try and holler, 'cause you're so damn fine. But you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine. Don't you know that you're mine? Let them know that you're mine. And I know that these dudes gon' try and holler, 'cause you're so damn fine. But you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine. We be dancing in the club, sipping on that Martell. Think this couple wanna go, take us to the hotel and finish. Feeling on your body, grinding on me slowly. But if we take it there, just know you're mine. And I belong to you, no matter what we do. Don't ever get confused. Whoa, lose my mind if we take it too far. And I know that you're still there. I don't wanna make things too hard. Don't you know that you're mine? Let them know that you're mine. And I know that these dudes gon' try and holler, 'cause you're so damn fine. But you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine. Don't you know that you're mine? Let them know that you're mine. And I know that these dudes gon' try and holler, 'cause you're so damn fine. But you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine. If they try and holler, let them know that I'm the truth. You got something special you can't find in any other dude. Don't you know that you're mine? Let them know that you're mine. And I know that these dudes gon' try and holler, 'cause you're so damn fine. But you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine. Don't you know that you're mine? Let them know that you're mine. And I dudes gon' try and holler, 'cause you're so damn fine. But you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine, but you're mine.
You know, when you love somebody, you gotta treat them kind, yeah. And if you out there and you got that good one, never let her go. Let me tell you why. I took her love for granted, and she stole my heart, left me stranded. What I to get it all back, my love, yeah. Last time we kissed, oh, our treasure, 'cause missing those lips are now forever gone too soon. Oh, hey. Just to get that moment back, baby, it's driving me crazy. Yeah, gotta work it out. Protect that woman, protect her heart, yeah, treat her right, yeah. You never miss a good thing till she's gone, yeah. Then you find yourself all alone. If you hear what I'm saying, yeah, gotta work it out.
All aboard! Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Janari, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. We've been gone for a while. How was your fall break?
It was really nice. Uneventful.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of family things, but I guess I like uneventful.
Right. It's good to have
You know.
Yeah.
No one wants a drama. I don't need
Right. Well, I know you have some exciting things for us. Now we're back. You want to take it away?
I do. You know, the holidays are right around the corner. I know we have to get through Halloween first, but the holidays are right around the corner, so they are posting more and more sales. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. So I'm going to be posting, you know, everything that I can find on Mondays. So Neiman Marcus Last Call, they're having a sale, and if you shop there now, you can get an extra 30% off of everything in the store and online. And that's Neiman Marcus Last Call. Target is also having a sale on all of their fall boots, and that's for the whole family. If you want to shop online, you can use promo code BOOTS20, and that's BOOTS 2020 at checkout if you're shopping online. Today is the last day to shop Express and get 30% off of all of their women's outerwear. Plus, you can buy one, get one for $19.90 on all of their jeans, and that's for guys and girls. The outerwear is just for the ladies, but the jeans is for everyone. Nine West is having a friends and family sale, and you can get 30% off of everything in the store and online. The Gap is having a sale through the 25th, and if you shop now through the 25th, you can get 40% off of your purchase. Gymboree, which is one of my kid-friendly stores, they are also having a sale, and you can get 40% off of all of their new holiday arrivals. Steve Madden is having a sale, and you can buy one, get one 50% off on all sale styles. And if you're shopping online, you need to use code SALE50, and that's SALE50 at checkout. Shutterfly.com, which is one of my favorite stores, especially around the holidays. If you go online now through Sunday, there's no purchase necessary. But if you go online now through Sunday, you can get a free wall calendar. So this will be a calendar that you design. I do this every year as gifts for my family. We do a photo calendar of Dylan. No one really wants to see me and Robbie, but we do one of Dylan. So we do a free wall, and you can get a free wall calendar, and that can save you. I think their calendars can be like anywhere between $14.99 and like $40. So it just depends. And the wall calendar is the biggest calendar that they have. So that's a pretty good deal. Plus, if you're at Shutterfly.com, you can get up to 50% off of everything else on the site. And of course, this is an online only store, so you have to keep that in mind. And when you shop, you have to use code LuckyMe at checkout to take advantage of the deal. Old Navy is having a sale, and if you shop there now, you can get 30% off of your purchase when you shop online, or you can get 20% off of your purchase if you're in the store. And of course, Old Navy, if you buy over a certain amount, you'll get free shipping. So that's also a great savings. Carter's is having a sale, and of course, Carter's is another children's clothing store, and they are teamed up with Oshkosh B'gosh. Anyway, Carter's is having a sale, and you can get up to 60% off of all of their outerwear, which is a great deal. Plus, you can get an extra 25% off of your purchase of $50 or more. And that's also a great deal. Saks Fifth Avenue off 5th. If you shop there now, you can get up to 75% off of all of the clearance items. Today's the last day to shop J. Crew and get 25% off of select coats. So they're only marking their coats down 25%. If you wait until the end of the season, you'll probably get a much better deal. But if you're in the market for a coat now, that's something to keep in mind. Another one of my favorite children's stores is the Children's Place, and this is an online-only sale. But they're having a sale now, and you can get 50% off of the entire store. So that is, or if you're shopping online, you can get 50% off of everything online. So that's a great deal. And last but not least, the Loft is having a friends and family event, and you can get 50% off of everything in the store and online. So that's all I have for you guys this evening.
Awesome. A lot of good stuff for parents for the holidays. And again, they can find all that at budgetshopaholic.com. Is that correct?
They surely can.
All right, listen, you have a great week, and talk to you next Monday.
Okay, I'll talk to you Monday.
All right back after this.
She's so hollow, cause she's so shallow, crying for you. She's so hollow, cause she's so shallow.
You just save your breath, 'cause there ain't nobody impressed. You're no different. You say that you have changed, but you only rearrange where you lay the blame. 'Cause she's so but you can't go home. 'Cause he's so, she's so high low. 'Cause he's so, she's so high low. 'Cause he's so, she's so high
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's the First Lady Faith Evans, and you're listening to the Stephen Knight Show.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Our guest tonight is here to talk to us about the global growing epidemic of human trafficking. Please help me welcome Marian Hatcher. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Stephen. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
I definitely appreciate you taking time out your schedule. I know you're a busy woman, so thank you. I definitely appreciate this.
It's a privilege, no problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. So why is human trafficking, why is it so close to your heart? We'll start off there.
Well, it's close to my heart because I am a survivor of sex trafficking myself, survivor of prostitution.
Wow.
And I'm also a recovering addict. I have 13 years clean and sober. And I am also formally incarcerated. Thank you. Also formally incarcerated. My life is truly a miracle when it comes down to it because I should be dead with the experiences that I had, but God saw fit to keep me safe and to allow me to be of service to others. My upbringing, you would not think that I'd end up in prostitution or on crack, but domestic violence was the precursor to my spiral down. I have a degree from Loyola University, 17 years in the corporate sector. I worked for 3 major corporations. But domestic violence led to drug use, which led to prostitution, which led to me being trafficked. And it's not an abnormal or odd entryway into being trafficked because think about it. If a woman is being abused at home and she runs, she's not going to take that violence that she's running from. First of all, there's the shame and guilt because she's being abused and beaten. And, this man not only beat me and abused me, he also assaulted my elderly mother. He put a gun to my oldest son's head and tried to hit our daughter that we have together with a large belt and ended up hitting my oldest daughter who was trying to protect her sister. Oh, wow. So when a woman runs, think about it, Stephen, she runs from that violence, but she doesn't run to anybody she cares about because of shame and guilt. Now, I'm on drugs too, but also I'm running away from what I think is going to kill me. So I'm not going to take that to my parents. I'm not going to take that to friends or loved ones. So you run to the street, and the street welcomes you. It's a world, an underworld. It's an unseen cesspool that absolutely takes you over, absolutely engulfs you, and it's a place that you can actually go and either become a part of it forever and die, or like me, God sent angels with handcuffs to come get his child and say, nope, that's been enough. Now she's going to go do my work. And so that's why it's so passionate for me, because I am a survivor. I've been I've been involved in this work for 13 years now, coming literally out of the jail to working, volunteering, and then working for the sheriff that had me in custody 13 years ago.
So when you were, out there on the streets and involved in all this, what was going on in your mind? Did you know that that this wasn't right, or were you just so engulfed in it, so far engulfed in it that you probably what's going on in your mind during those days?
Well, the problem is once you get so involved in it and you got shame and guilt now, walked away from my family. I lost custody of my youngest daughter, by the way, as a result of not being able to make it back. My family tried their best to take care of everybody. My dad had some of the kids, and my ex-husband took, care of help with this and that. And my aunt took that youngest child, and she became her foster parent at 76 years old, and eventually had to adopt her because I didn't make my way back in time. But you're not thinking about that. The only time you're thinking about that, Stephen, once you're on crack and once you're on drugs and once you're out there like that, is the fact that you need to stay high so you don't think about it.
Yeah.
You know it's wrong. I wasn't raised to become a quote-unquote prostitute or be labeled a hoe. I was raised to be the professional that I was with the college education of 17 years in corporate sector and take care of my family. But I was also raised with some stressors that made me more susceptible to being open to that sort of, outlet or running away from life, because I was molested as a child, and that's one of the parts of the profile. But also I suffered from depression majority of my adult life. And sometimes just that combination of things, and you introduce drugs into it, and people with addictive personality, they don't know that they are indeed an addict until it's too late. Yeah. And once you're out there, you're out there. Very difficult to make your way back. The only time I thought about what I was doing was when I wasn't under the influence, and that was extremely rare. I stayed high. I was high for 3 weeks straight once and didn't sleep. Wow. So, I was trying my best to kill myself, but it didn't happen.
Yeah. And I mean that you can tell the story today. It's just amazing in itself. So once you got arrested, and did you already know in your mind then? Okay, because I know I had an uncle that was on drugs, and he was saying that every time he got arrested, he just couldn't wait to get back out there and do drugs. But then he said for himself, he said that he knew it was the last time he got arrested. He knew that he was going to change, and he said that he was ready to do it. He was willing to put in the work. So for you, once you got arrested the last time, did you know that you wanted to change, or you wanted to?
Well, yeah, because I was tired of running. Yeah. I missed my family. I grieved for so much. The loss of my custody of my daughter was very difficult to. I could return to angry children and disappointed parents. Yeah. But I was ready. I was missing for almost 2 years, Stephen.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So I packed a lot into that negative experience, but when it was time to come home, God sent, like I said, angels with handcuffs, and I haven't looked back because I forgave myself in the jail cell.
Yeah.
And I forgave those who had harmed me because God had already forgiven me.
Right. Exactly.
And I forgave those who had harmed me that might have been in my family, my ex-husband. And today, I'll tell you, God is good. My ex-husband, who was my abuser that I just was describing, he's out, of doing crazy stuff himself, and he and I, we talk, and I supported him when he was trying to get his life back together, and now our daughter's about to have her first child. So,
congratulations.
Yeah, and I'm close to my stepkids, and my life is a true miracle. But I guess we should go back to the trafficking. The passion that I have for the trafficking is because while I experienced it, Stephen. And I've been raped, beaten, and kidnapped. I was missing for 2 years, lost custody of my daughter, like I said, even though I was allowed to co-parent her when I got myself back together.
Right.
It still wasn't the worst-case scenario because there are women and girls men and boys included, and transgender, some people that identify LGBTQ, who have never known anything but this violation of humanity. This is what they have always known. And so, and then on the flip side of it, and I'm not making excuses for anybody, but when it comes down to the society that I come from, being an African-American woman, I have to, like I was just telling them down at the Illinois Department of Corrections, training their folks, the other side of this is the victims, the victimizers, the pimp, the pimp game, the pimps. These young men, these young boys, if this is the only society and social norm that they know, what do people do? What do they expect? And they've learned that narcotics can only be sold once, and the girl can be sold as many times as possible, right? Sometimes girls are turning 10 and 20, 30 dates a day. And so their risk of going to jail has lessened remarkably by them selling that girl, because she's the one that's going to get locked up, most likely not him. So the sadness of it for me, and the reason why this is truly my calling, is the amount of mental health abuse, the mental health devastation that they experience, the substance abuse. Everybody's on some kind of drug, primarily heroin and crack, but the opiate epidemic is out of control. So between the heroin, the crack, and then depending on where you are in the country, you have your methamphetamine that's out of control. The drug use coupled with the mental health abuse, and then you have the trauma, the violence that is, like I said, I was raped, I was beaten, and some of these girls, I've ministered to women who have had their faces slashed, and one 18-year-old girl, gorgeous girl, face just cut up by a sex buyer. One of the girls I've helped more recently, beaten brutally by her pimp. Ankle break so bad the hospital had never seen him break that bad, the doctor said, without having to amputate the foot. She has 7 pins and 3 plates in her foot. The brutalization that I've seen, and some of the girls don't make it, Stephen. Some of the girls I get, I've gotten calls of girls who we tried to help and it didn't work out because they weren't ready, or their trauma bond was so strong that they left our support and care. I get calls of girls who have OD'd, or girls who have been found dead, murdered, or their cause of death is unknown. They just dead. They're just there. They were found behind a dumpster. I've had to do some support with, as an expert witness, and heard some stories of things that are horrific. In addition, I coordinate the largest sting buyer operation in the country, or actually it's in the world, in terms of arresting sex buyers on behalf of the Sheriff of Cook County. It's called the National John Suppression Initiative. Okay. And it's, God has a sense of humor, Stephen, because think about it, recovering addict, ex-offender, survivor prostitution, coordinating such a massive operation. Wow. We piloted it back October 2011, 8 jurisdictions, including us, and we made 216 arrests. In 14 operations nationally, we have grown to 101 arresting agencies, over 200 partners when you add all levels of federal law enforcement, because I work with diplomatic security folks, I work with Homeland Security, the FBI, and all other, research partners we've got, nonprofit partners that we have. It's over 200 partners in task forces when you look at it. So after 14 sting operations, we have arrested over 7,600 sex buyers. So these what people call Johns, we've been able to show that law enforcement does get it, that this is a demand-driven human rights violation. It's a business model. It's about the money. Yep. But see, this is the thing that I want to make clear to your listeners. It's real easy to say this is a brown and black problem. It's not, because see, guess what? This is the people that are buying. The profile is primarily white men, married, with children, educated, most of them college and above in most studies. In our particular study, we have more, high school is the prevalent range, but it's skewed according to what regions, were involved with our particular operations. But it's still educated, married, around 50% married, and then another 10% in relationships.
Wow.
Then you have the fact that the young ladies that are being bought, 21 and under, you've got 87% of them have entered the sex trade at 21 years old or under. 18 and under, 64% in the study in Cook County, and it pretty much, And then we've had them as young as 8 and 9 years old, Stephen, okay? And guess what? Not surprisingly, most of them are African American. So trafficking and prostitution are eternally shackled.
Yeah.
Prostitution is not always trafficking, but trafficking is always prostitution. But 80% of those involved in prostitution have had a manager, a person that benefited from the sale of their body at some point in their experience of exploitation. All research is pretty much between 80 and 85%. So 80 and 85%. So we all, have a kind of agreed upon an 80% because it's proven. Right. And a lot of times the reason why she may not say she has a pimp because of fear. She's waiting for him to pick her up, at the point of arrest or the point of contact, depending on where you are in the country. It is also, at that point, I might have had a pimp at one point, but now, the game has got me so beat down, Stephen, nobody wants to sell me anymore, so I got to sell myself. Now when I get popped, right, I'm by myself. So there's all these different ways of looking at it. It's structural violence that's embedded in society, and I'm actually giving a keynote on that Thursday. And the structural violence, it shows up in different places. Agencies and institutions in our society that are supposed to give everybody the benefit of what you would call, I guess, the fruits of technology. A good life. You know what I mean? Right. We think of social service agencies as helping folks. We think of health, the institutions of health and the mental health and higher learning. All these institutions are supposed to be helping us, but when they fail, and they fail a lot, DCFS is supposed to do a certain job, but you have a great deal of trafficking of children, of youth and care, or wards, depending on what they're called, because they're a vulnerable population.
Wow.
So you got babies being sold, and then they have an 18th birthday, and all of a sudden somebody want to call them an adult and call them. See, first they go from being a victim because they're 18 or under, but when they have an 18th birthday, now she's a hoe. Wow. And she's doing it because she wants to.
Right. Exactly.
So that's where it's at.
Well, what can parents do, to protect? I know, like you said, you didn't grow up in that type of environment. You didn't grow up with the pedigree to, get into that. I won't say industry, but I guess human trafficking. What can parents do to protect their children from that?
Most important thing you can do is what I do with my 6.5-year-old. She's gonna be 7 in a month. Lord help me, Jesus. She's gonna be 7 in October. I'll put it like this: that little girl, she can give you a lecture on human trafficking. Because see, if we're teaching them about drug use, we're teaching them about being careful, hygiene. We're teaching them about protecting themselves physically from physical harm. We need to teach them about the people that are out there trying to take people away from their families. And you can say it to them, age appropriate, right? Yeah. But you have to tell them that there is a world out there that is not nice, that means them no good, and that they take people and they sell them. They sell them and make them do things that mommy and daddy have taught you are not good things, not things that you should be doing.
Right.
and they hurt you. They beat you up, and you just explain age appropriate. Now, if they're older, there's a lot of research and there's a lot of ways that you can go. Just Google, how to get information on how to properly introduce the concept to young people. But you age appropriately tell them the truth, just like you would about not using drugs. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. The other thing is this: keep an open lines of communication and don't lie to yourself about what your child is doing. These kids know stuff, and they're growing up in an age of technology that is extremely dangerous.
Absolutely.
They can Google something, just innocent, and these pop-ups and all kind of old crazy stuff. And then there's that introduction into pornography that has completely perverted the concept of sexual intimacy for everybody. Teach the young people, teach the boys about respecting young girls at an early age. Teach the girls that they're beautiful and wonderful, and their most precious part are supposed to be treated with respect, and that there's certain things that happen when it comes to sexuality. Introduction to intimacy and sexuality should be age appropriately discussed with them, and that violence is not included. That's not the norm, because what's happened with pornography being legal, and the pornography that's out there now is perverting and totally distorting young people's view of sexual intimacy. In addition, the part of the problem is that parents have to really work with is making sure young people understand that sexual access to a woman's body is not a law. There's nothing that says that you have a right to have sex with a girl. Nothing that says that she has to let you have sex with her, and that if she does not have sex with you, that you can take it. There's nothing in a law that says that. Cause see, let me take you back. Let me give you a little history. When we go back to in the Bible days, bond servantry was a respectable relationship between a slave owner and the slave. To a point where he might, after 7 years, make a decision that he wants to maintain that the economic and a business relationship. He might want to stay in that relationship because it was done with respect and care, and there was no exploitation involved. Then we move forward, and as we see in the Bible, it starts to transform. But if you go to England gives you the concept of chattel bondage. It's what slavery looked like, and then they say they got rid of it because it was wrong, but really it was all about the sugar, okay? So it's all about the money. And so people started out crying about that, but, they outlawed it over there, but then they moved us over here. Okay, let's come to America. Slavery is what? A business need. You got to have the slave to what? Work your crops to make the money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Somebody got over here and said, no, it's not right. We need to outlaw it. So Master used to, I'm going to put it to you like this, and I'm going to be quiet. Master used to own all of me, Stephen, and Master could have at everything on me, right?
Yep.
They freed me. Stephen, they say they freed me, right? So now Master doesn't have access to me, supposedly, legally. What does he do now? He offers me $1. Now Master's they're going to give me $1 to have that same sexual access. And that is turned into a perverted thing called prostitution. And guess what? It's out of control. Sexual exploitation of women and girls, men and boys, and transgender as well is out of control. But it is a primarily gender-based violence act against women and girls. You see more survival sex amongst young runaway boys. And transgender community is very close, and they support each other in what they do. So you don't see as much, quote-unquote, trafficking. You see a lot of the survival exploitation in that community. But the prostitution and trafficking is the women and girls is the primary population when you look worldwide and domestically here in the U.S.
Wow. Well, let's discuss your role in the doc film I Am Jane Doe.
Well, my role is special, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I hope everyone listening would be interested enough. The documentary film I Am Jane Doe is historic. And I'm honored and privileged to be in it along with my Sheriff Thomas J. Dart, Sheriff of Cook County. But the documentary is bringing attention to the selling of our children, as I just said, right. earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It really shows the selling of our children on a website that is protected like other websites in the past by the CDA. The Communications Decency Act, passed in 1960-something, has been used to protect the Internet-based websites and all of that from being held responsible for the prostitution and trafficking that takes place every day, every minute of every day on these websites. And so my role in that documentary is primarily showing the mothers and the Jane Does, or the girls that were sold. It is showing the kind of the evolution of where things are with it in terms of what was going on in Capitol Hill, right. Trying to make sure that, different lawsuits went through and every one of them got tossed out because of the CDA, things like that. There is some forward motion in one state, in Washington State. But my role is really the future and the hope. I am the adult. I am Jane Doe. And it was a privilege to represent where a young girl who has been treated horrifically, right. who has lost her childhood, lost her humanity in many ways. It's just I depict that, guess what? It can be okay. Yeah. And you can end up being this, stand tall, exactly. Be that strong black, white, yellow, brown woman that you want to be. You can recover from the bad things that happen, that they don't define you. What happened to you doesn't define you. Yeah. And you can take that experience and choose to build, or you can choose to break down. Yeah. Yeah. But I chose to build. And part of what I hope is that in building something that will be sustainable, that my grandchildren can be proud of and benefit from in this society, and that others can, look at and say, wow, she's gone on home to Jesus, but that Marian Hatcher, she was something else. She got better, and she did never look back. Absolutely. I got multiple sclerosis and fibromyalgia, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I'm a survivor of prostitution, all of that list that I gave you. I'm still here, Stephen. I'm still here.
And I think the fact that you experienced this firsthand, I think that's why you're so good at what you're doing, because you know the story, you know what goes on, you know what you've seen, you know the experience. And so I thank you for your life as an example. First, sharing your history and not being ashamed, but you're inspiring others, in that. And so I thank you for that. Definitely.
Thank you.
Is there a website or are you on social media where people can keep up, or and tune in what you got going on?
Yeah, well, they can go to the sheriff's office website. You can Google my name and pretty much find me anywhere. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but people who are interested in contacting me, unless there's an emergency, if there's an emergency, I always call 911 or the National Human Trafficking Hotline if there's a direct emergency where a victim is at risk. But anyone who's interested in contacting me directly from your show that wants to continue the conversation, get information, can contact the press office at the Cook County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. Listen, Marian, thank you so much for joining us tonight and telling your story. And, again, for all the great work you're doing in your community. I just thank you so much for your time today.
It is a privilege. Thank you, and God bless.
God bless. We'll be right back after this.
We in this biatch, like all over our sweethearts. Self-discovery, lesson learned, we on our Alfred Hitchcock. East Coast hard, West Coast hard. Rest in peace, Tupac, poetic hip-hop. Round and round we go. Life cycle, tick-tock, it's me. Somewhat an anomaly, first degree of hip-hop hypocrisy. Never
you motherfucking label me. As I sit back and watch, never interject. Money in the bank with the ill concept. Vision is clear, never gets complex. Chillin' on the scene like Peace Hotel. For the 1800 and vanilla Coke. Sit back and chill, maybe even smoke. Summertime lounging, good to go. Chillin' at the beach, that's how we roll. I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it fly high.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it shake it, just like sexy, baby.
We be the scene stillers, way back as stillers. Hollywood Hill, real dealers, no filters. Lounging in the cut with the cold chillers. Twisted on the sun, propaganda for fun. Run, forest, run, dream builders. Fly establishment, clean with fresh kicks. Good eating, sunbathing where the money went. Harlem bars, Harley stars, two twisted Uber cars. Stripper poles, diamond gold, church basket, tie and hold. Private gyms, assaulting ribs, exclusive diamond fold friends. Purple label, more stable, life coach, now you're able. Cabotins, spa stins, freaky hints. But yo, where the money, where to make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it fly high.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it shake it, just don't break it, get that sexy.
Scene stillers, Hollywood heel dealers. Lounging in the cut with the big willers. Rocking clean whips and fresh kicks. Harlem bars, Harley stars, twisted Uber cars.
Car ride by with the booming system. Throwback vibe with a good detention. Lover who you are, don't be scared to mention. Chillin' with my beats, no ill pretension. Catch the waves, dancing days, Sundays, fun days, Fridays, payday, make money any day. Whatever you do, love it and be free. And remember, I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy,
baby.
Make it super fly.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it fly high.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it shake it, just don't break it, get that sexy.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly. Make it sexy, make it fly high.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly. Make it shake it, just don't break it, get that sexy.
Make it sexy, baby.
The vulnerable one.
that red wine. I might pour a little hen or pour a little crown, cause you know you be my queen. Like horses and carriages, we riding through the city. Yeah, we south stood. Tell them lanes to catch up. Drop the top on the whip, let the wind mess your hair up. Riding in a time machine to a new era. Barton Creek, all we shopping. It's time to run up some commas. Put you in inside a designer, maybe them new red bots. Upgrade you from McDonald's and take you to Benihana's. It's the final things. Take you to a place where your phone would never ring. How to range on a plane and do it all again. Feeling like the homie Wiz, I think she never been. But don't trip, let's take a trip.
Let's ride, just ride. We can ride all over town if you want to. Just ride, let's ride. We can do whatever you want to. It's on you. Party or chill, drink and chill, smoke and chill. We can do whatever you want to. Ride, 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 ride. Ride, 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 ride.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Just want to let you know about an event that's happening if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area. It's called World We, and it's going to be October 25th. It's the World Without Exploitation, a national coalition to end human trafficking and sexual exploitation will be hosting a free special evening of arts and advocacy in Atlanta. The evening will begin with a stage reading of After 18, a new play by award-winning playwright Katie Capello. The play, inspired by survivors, takes us inside the lives of 5 women impacted by commercial sex trade. Lori Tan Shin from Orange, is a new black will be performing as well. Following the performance, there will be a panel discussion of survivors and experts, including Melba Robinson, program director of Haven ATL, an Atlanta-based organization that provides comprehensive services to survivors of sex trade. Should be a very amazing night. If you want more information, you can email Lauren, Lauren, Hirsch, HERSH, 0909 @gmail.com. Again, it's Lauren Hirsch, 0909 @gmail.com. Definitely something you should take your children to. Again, it's going to be this Wednesday, October 25th, 7 to 9 at the Carter Center in Atlanta, Georgia. For more information, go to our website, StephenKnightShow.com. Right back after this. Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, TK, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, sir. Howdy.
Adam, how was your fall break?
Oh, it was great. If you've you're down in Atlanta, so I'm up in DC now, but the weather has been great. We haven't really had a cold day lately, not even really a rainy day. So I've been trying to enjoy being outside as much as possible. Just kind of enjoying it before the cold kicks in.
All right. Well, welcome back, and I'll let you and TK take your way with movie reviews.
Perfect. I'll start us off, and it's been the fall break, and we were in the fall lull of movies, but I did see 3 films, and I'll start from the beginning. And the first thing I saw was Kingsman: The Golden Circle, and I actually have a review up on the website for it. But this is a sequel to The Kingsman: The Secret Service, and stars the oh man, sorry, I'm forgetting his name because he's not a big name. But Taron Egerton, and it's a sequel to The Kingsman. And it's been a while since I saw it, but I will say this, I wasn't a big fan. I heard how good the first one was. I actually haven't seen the first one, and I knew it was like a tongue-in-cheek satire. This one kind of missed the mark, in my opinion, even with the over-the-topness, even though it was intentional. But it was kind of a pass for me. But going into the second movie I saw, which was kind of the big hyped movie, one of the hype movies of the season, Blade Runner 2049. And for anyone who's kind of familiar with this follows the original movie that was made in the 80s by Ridley Scott. And Blade Runner 2049 follows the story of Ryan Gosling. He plays a replicant, which is an android named K, and he's a Blade Runner. And a Blade Runner is someone who is tasked with exterminating or retiring, as they call it, replicants that have gone bad or that have gone rogue. So similar to the original, and this one was actually directed by Denis Villeneuve, who you might know from Arrival he did last year, and Sicario was the big one as well. So this movie kind of follows the story of him trying to unlock a mystery. And I don't want to go into too many details, but, you do have Gosling doing a good job, and Harrison Ford is in it. Jared Leto plays the villain. And I liked the movie except for it was 2 hours and 43 minutes. And my thought on long movies, if they're going to be long, they have to have a reason that they're long. And for me, this movie had no reason to be that long. It's a very beautiful movie. The artistic style kind of keeps with the original, just in a modern time. The setting reminds you, if you've ever played the video game series Deus Ex, very similar to that. But yeah, there was just some scenes were unnecessary. The parts kind of seemed bogged down. It was definitely a Ryan Gosling movie, even though they have Harrison Ford on it. He's not in it that much. Jared Leto as the villain is not even in it that much. And so it kind of misses marks on that. The plot was just, it was fine, but nothing new or exciting. And this is a world that's been hyped up since the 80s, since the original, and they could have done a little more than they did, in my opinion. And then the final movie I saw was Marshall. And this movie came out just recently, and it follows Thurgood Marshall, which is the first African-American Supreme Court justice. And it follows one of his cases he did. And in this case, he is defending a black man who was convicted of rape for this woman that he worked for, an attempted murder. And so he joins and he goes up to Connecticut to work on this case, and he works with another lawyer that he's allowed to work with locally, played by Josh Gad, and it's Sam Friedman. And it's really good. So Chadwick Boseman, who plays Thurgood Marshall, and if you might recognize him for the new Black Panther movie, and of course he was in Captain America, the most recent one. And it's a good case. It's a good movie. Thurgood Marshall, I think, has probably a better or a higher overall history than just focusing on one small case. So it was very interesting just to kind of see that focus. But it's really good. It is a court drama, so if you're into those, you'll definitely like it. There's definitely some intense moments, not as intense as Detroit per se. They kind of do lighten it a little bit, but this is happening during 1941, I want to say. So we're at the eve of World War II, as Thurgood Marshall is going around representing, working with the NAACP on these cases. Really good job. All the acting was great. There's a huge cast lineup, besides Boseman and Gad. Kate Hudson is in it, and Stevens. Sterling K. Brown plays the accused man, and he did a really good job. If you remember The People versus O.J., he was the other attorney that worked with the defense, and it was nice to see him in a different role. So really good movie. The only other minor complaint is that Boseman and Gad don't look like their respective people. Thurgood Marshall looks a lot different. Sam Friedman looks a lot different from what these actors were. And I understand, going with the talent first, but it was a little bit off of what you expect when you think of Thurgood Marshall. Overall, though, good. And if you're looking to catch up on a lot of movies, the last two are worth it, especially Marshall.
Yeah, I saw Marshall myself, and I thought that it was a good movie. But as an African American, during that time period, I think Thurgood Marshall was able to make certain moves in certain circles too because of the color of his skin. He was a fair-skinned African American man, which back in those times gave you a little bit more privilege. Chadwick Boseman is darker, and me knowing what I know about the times, because my mother, was born during that time, and the stories that she used to tell me, it didn't mesh to me. But, as far as the story was concerned, as far as Thurgood Marshall was concerned in this movie, it was pretty good. But some of the realistic stuff, it didn't make out to me. And Adam, I don't know if you can attest to, but Thurgood Marshall was kind of a badass in this movie. He just did things that were against the grain. And I'm not saying Thurgood Marshall in real life didn't do that, but back in those times in real life, there would be consequences to pay for some of the things that he did in this movie. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I definitely tried to give him a little edge. For someone who's not familiar with the court cases, and that's one good thing I will say is I didn't know anything about this court case that really had happened. So you do want to know what's going to happen. You want to know the outcome. It's not like something that's widely known. It's not like People versus OJ. So it kind of gave you a little bit of that intensity, even though it was just a small little slice of his life.
Right. And I too saw The Kingsman, and I have to disagree with my co-host here. I love The Kingsman. There's something about the James Bond-ish spy gadget, get smart type of movie that I just love. I will always have an affection for these type of movies, and I think that as glitchy as it was, it played its part and it did it well. I personally give Kingsman an A just simply because it did what it was supposed to do. It was that type of movie. It wasn't trying to be, it's my opinion, it wasn't trying to be something that it wasn't. And
and maybe I just maybe it just threw me off because I thought, I got it was going to be kind of over the top and kind of a satire style, but it's just some of the stuff was just a little too, like one of those late night B-movie kind of plots or stories. And I also didn't like that, they advertised Channing Tatum, Jeff Bridges, Halle Berry, as main, in all the trailers, and then they're not in it a lot. Just as a spoiler, they're not in it as much as they should have been for such high talent. So that was kind of
name dropping to get you in the theater. Yeah, name dropping to get you in.
Exactly. And the movie had to depend on that, but I'm sure it found its following. I'm sure it did fine. I expected one thing, I guess, and it just didn't click with me.
Okay, and let's go back to Blade Runner 2. Did you see the original?
Yes, and I will say this. I saw the original only 2 years ago, so I'm very new to it. It's very fresh. I know a lot of people saw it growing up, so they don't remember it. And the original is definitely a slow-moving, kind of weird movie. It was a cult classic, and so, I did see the original, though, to answer your question.
Okay, and I agree with you. The cinematic style was very complementary to the original. It had some of the it almost mirrored the first movie to me as far as the sequencing and the cinematography and the pace of it. They really did study the original movie, and they tried to give you part two of the original movie. I enjoyed everything, but I'm in agreement with you. It was a bit long, and it was a bit long to not have the impact that it probably should have, to be a sequel to such a older movie. We waited so long for this story. Why didn't you punch us in the mouth with it? We should have been blown away with this movie, and I wasn't really blown away. It was entertaining, but I wasn't blown away.
Yeah, I agree. And the first one, it's a weird one, and it's based off a Philip K. Dick novel, which of course he's done so many movies, so many short stories that they based movie off of, like Total Recall, and then the Mine and High Castle series and things like that. And the first one gives you that little bit of something, you don't have to, but there's that little bit of, humanity in the android or in the replicants of, what they're trying to achieve, and you felt that. This one, I didn't see it as much. I just was like, okay, this is kind of an action mystery movie, and he's trying to solve it, and they solve it, but really, what do we get out of it? I just couldn't figure that out as much.
And I think the mystery was probably more so the component in the second one. And in the first one, it was more about are you or aren't you? Are you or aren't you? How can I tell? Are you real or are you fake? And then in the second one, of course, it's about, the mystery and finding out, what they're supposed to find out.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, it was fine. It just wasn't, again, like you said, there's a lot of build-up. There's a lot of hype. I think there could have been a lot with this world that they've created that people have loved for so long, and they kind of just maybe took it safe and just made it a simple mystery kind of movie.
Cool. I also saw Made in America starring Tom Cruise.
Nice.
That's a true story based on, American Made. I said Made in America. That's a concert series that happens here in Philadelphia. Sorry, people. American Made, starring Tom Cruise, and it's a true story based on Barry Seal, who is a TWA pilot who was recruited by the CIA to run covert operations, which basically became the birth of the Medellin cartel. He was running money and he was running drugs in and out of the country just because he had the means to. And he was almost playing like a triple agent, and he was an informant. And if you know anything about informants with any type of law enforcement, you get protected. So under his protection, he could never be arrested for anything. So because he could never be arrested for anything, he ran the muck and he did the most, and to an obscene degree. And it's very colorful. It's very exciting. There's a lot of action, and it's based on a true story. And when you watch it and you pay attention to the storyline, during the Reagan administration, you'll begin to understand that whole war on drugs and why the war on drugs would never be won when you had someone who was working halfway on the inside assisting it. Definitely check it out. Okay. Tom Cruise is still on his A game. Excellent movie, and it's a side piece from a couple of other films he released this year. Very, very good, very classic Tom Cruise. I give him an A+. Check it out. Definitely something to see in the theater. Definitely something to see in the theater.
Oh, nice. Okay, because I did want to see it.
Yeah, check that out, Adam, and then let me know what you think about it. And the last movie that I saw was Wind River, starring Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. This was a good movie, a very good mystery. Jeremy Renner plays a wildlife ranger who finds a body, and when the body has the autopsy done, they find out that the body had been raped. It was a female, and she had been raped. So the mystery starts on how she got killed and who raped her. Very good movie, again. I just think that maybe they could have released it on Netflix. It didn't necessarily need to be in the theater. And the reason that I say this is because we're in an age now where when you go to the theater and I'm paying $10+, I want to be wowed. And not saying that this movie didn't have wow moments, but I'm not going to the theater to pay plus $10 to just see a murder mystery. I need some other things happening. I need some special effects. I need some dynamic, cinematography. I need something that I can only get on the big screen. The day and the age of stepping your game up, directors and Hollywood and movie houses, you need to step the game up as far as some of these movies are concerned. Again, it was a good movie. I'm going to give it an A, but I'm going to say you can wait until it comes to television to see it. This could have very well been a blockbuster Netflix movie. Seriously.
Okay, nice. So, and I feel like that's kind of what Marshall could have done as well.
Yes,
in that
I
sense.
agree. Coming down the line for me, Thor, Justice League, of course, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and I do want to see Murder on the Orient Express just because I think that it is going to be just because of the storyline and the history of Murder on the Orient Express, I just think that it's going to be dynamic on the big screen. And, of course...
sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and the trailer is pretty fun, so it makes it seem like an interesting movie.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, what I'm anticipating is, my own biography coming to theaters, The $6 Billion Man, which is based off of the $6 Million Man television show from the 70s starring Lee Majors, where he is an astronaut and he has an accident, and they actually save his life by making him half cyborg. So Mark Wahlberg is going to star in that, so I can't wait to see that. That's something from my childhood.
Nice. And I agree with most of those. I will add as well that this Friday, if you don't want to go to the theater, Stranger Things Season 2 is coming out. This has been hyped all year. The first one that came out last was such a surprise hit. So if you need some kind of Halloween watching, definitely check it out because they've been talking about it all year, and it's finally coming.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's a new series on Netflix called Mindhunters, and it's about the birth of criminal profiling from the FBI as it relates to serial killers.
Oh, nice.
Excellent series. I think I got through it within a day. That's how good it was because I just absorbed it.
Okay.
Very cerebral, very mental, very psychological. Get into it. Check it out. And I don't know if you've been watching, Adam, or if you're even interested, but I'm telling people to watch The Deuce on HBO. It's from the creators of The Wire. And this now follows the life of Times Square before they changed Times Square.
Nice.
With the prostitutes and the porn houses and all that stuff. It's very riveting.
I haven't seen it yet.
What'd you say?
Sorry, I haven't seen it yet, but everyone has been talking about it, and I do want to watch it.
Yeah. Very riveting. It's slow to move, just like The Wire was in the beginning. But now that I'm 6 episodes in, you see all the pieces coming together. Definitely check it out.
Nice. And I started watching Ozark, by the way. That's actually really That's really good. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, cool.
Well, as always, thank you every week for keeping us in the know, letting us know what to spend our money on, what to stay at home, watch Netflix. So thank you for too. And also don't forget to see Adam's reviews on our website, thestephenknightshow.com. All right, guys, have a great week.
All right.
Thanks, you too.
All right, right back after this.
Yeah. It's your boy Rapped Out Raw, man. Stuck in the hood. Grew up with no father. Some of us grew up with no mother. But we all share the same struggle. I'm stuck in these streets, everybody should know. Tell me how we gon' eat, tell me which way to go. Tell me the police cause they let go. There's no love in these streets, I just thought you should know. I'm stuck in these streets, everybody should know. Tell me how we gon' eat, tell me which way to go. Tell me the police cause they let go. There's no love in these streets, I just thought you should know. Tell me how we gon' eat, but you talking this piece. Had to go get it, be all I can be. They wanted me finished, hooked up the IVs. At the top, I'm the greatest, Muhammad Ali. My probation still blowing is green. I done patiently waited, went hard on my team. Stacking this paper, put on for my team. They lock us in cages, nobody them peep. The way that we label, say f*** the police. How the f*** can your pop abandon the seed? Mama should love you, she pray on her knees. The reaper don't come, leave your brains in the streets. Hospital bed, flat line here to beat. The dirt with the 9, now I'm signed to the street. Put work in my pond that my mama can eat. Daughter can shine, son get some sneaks. Let's turn out of jail, put him back in the street. He going through hell and he living through me. All this out and down, I just wish he could see. I just wish he could see. I'm stuck in these streets, everybody should know. Tell me how we gon' eat, tell me which way to go. Tell me the police cause they let go. There's no love in these streets, I just thought you should know. I've been waiting some time, constantly thinking, got shit on my mind. Constantly drinking, ambition and grind. Whatever it takes, put my pride to the side. Know they gon' hate, they don't want me to shine. Look me dead in the face, but you fake by the smile. To get on my level, gon' take you a while. They sent me to jail, I took it and smiled. They gave me a bill, I took it to trial. They put me through hell, just look at me now. Look at me now. I'm stuck in these streets, everybody should know. Tell me how we gon' eat, tell me which way to go. Tell me which way to go. Tell me the police cause they let go. There's no love in these streets, I just thought you should know. I'm stuck in these streets, everybody should know. Tell me how we gon' eat, tell me which way to go. Tell me the police cause they let go. There's no love in these streets, I just thought you should know.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Aaron Cosby, how's it going?
Man, Stephen Knight, life is great, man. How's it going?
Great. How was your fall break? I know you were busy.
Midterms.
All cool
studying.
midterms.
Yes. Oh, yes. Crazy. What about you? Any traveling?
I did. I went to Minnesota. I went to Portland. And then this week I'm going to New York, all for work.
You always moving, man.
I got to see my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece and nephew when I went to Portland, so that was great.
Oh, that is great. Yeah. That is definitely great.
Yeah.
Definitely great.
Man,
sports.
Yeah, what's going on in the world of sports?
Well, Colin Kaepernick still does not have a job. Yeah. Can I just say this? Okay, people. He's not going to get there. No one's going to hire him. I hate to say that.
Think so?
I think that. Yeah. It's just the NFL. Their heads are in the sand. These owners are just stubborn. No one's going to take a chance. And I hate saying, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just stubborn. They're just not going to do it. They don't want to alienate some of their fans or whatever. It's really sad. It is sad, yeah. But it is sad because this man is more talented than a lot of active quarterbacks on NFL rosters. Like it's crazy. But yeah, it's not going to happen. Like his NFL career, in my opinion,
is over.
It's over. Yeah.
It's messed up, isn't it?
It is messed up. It's so messed up. So messed up. Speaking of messed up, the Cavs. Have you heard about all this drama with Kyrie Irving, LeBron going back? I think that Boston is a better sports city than Cleveland is, and just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. So Cleveland beat Boston. It was a close game. Okay, that's all I can say about that. Yeah, I don't. Okay, to me, no. Okay, because I think that I've made this very clear throughout the years. I'm not a big fan of the NBA until after the All-Star game. Honestly, more towards once maybe like that last week or two of the regular season on into the playoffs. Right now, it's just boring. Like it's kind of lame. So, in order to grab people's attention, other things has to happen in the NBA now, which means personalities, people talking stuff, internet beef and Twitter beef and Instagram beef and everything. It's entertainment.
Right.
Right. All right. Speaking of entertaining, the Falcons, man. Can we just go there? Can we just
Please
go there?
do. Please do.
Bruh.
Yeah, catch a break.
Okay. I was doing some calculations last night watching the game.
Right.
And before the Falcons scored that their only touchdown of the game, they had if you count the last time that they played the Patriots, which was of course in the Super Bowl, and count this game, they allowed New England to go in essence of a 31-41, a 54-0 run, if you think about it, because the Patriots scored 31 unanswered points in the Super Bowl to win, and then they scored 20, and then it was 23-0 in the game last night.
Right.
So before they were able to score that touchdown. So in essence, 31 plus 23, do the math, 54-0. Crazy. That's to me borderline. Is there something that needs to change? I like the coach. What do you think it is, Stephen? Because I was thinking, and is this psychological now? Maybe is
that's
there
what
something going on?
I don't want what's the disconnect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I don't think that they've gotten over that Super Bowl. But I think that's going to be with them for years, not just months and for years. This is going to be with them for a long time. Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, there's something going on there, and it's Atlanta cannot catch a break, man. It's man.
Right, they can't. I mean, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, did you watch the game last night?
I didn't, but I saw everyone's disappointment all over social media. They were definitely disappointed.
Yeah.
They're diehard fans out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you see the Falcons making the playoffs this year?
I don't know, because the last two seasons they started off very strong. You know what I mean? Started off the season strong, and this season they're not. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know.
If I had to hold my breath, well, that might not be a good analogy. If I was a betting, let's just say that. And if I bet on the Falcons making the playoffs, I think that I would lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then again, this is the same Ron that had picked teams in the past to win, and they didn't win, and those who I said didn't win did. So again,
right.
People take this is Ron, so watch them actually win this year. Maybe they'll go all the way this year.
Who knows?
But you never know.
Never know.
But yeah, man, that to me is the hottest thing going on right now. Like that's what people that I've talked to today were talking about. Just that the Falcons, that there's a cloud, there's some negative energy going on within that franchise right now, and it's going downhill quick. Like it's going downhill. Yeah. So.
That's crazy.
But we'll see. Yeah, it is crazy because they are so talented, but their defense has gotten better, but it's not good now. I mean, last season it was pretty good.
Right.
But the offense was the offense was even better, which helped them to win games.
Yeah.
This season, the offense isn't doing well, and the defense is pretty much non-existent. It's just but there's also injuries. I have to address that the Falcons have gone through a lot of injuries. But still.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to. So anyway, that's it. sports right now. We can talk more about the Falcons and all else sports next week.
All right.
Yeah, I have an accounting exam to study for, brother. So.
Yeah, I know you're a busy man. Well, good luck with everything, for sure. And thank you for bringing us, as always, the latest in sports. Tell everybody where they can follow you on social media.
Social media, all right. Facebook, my first name dot last name, Aaron Cosby. Instagram, Aaron Cosby. Twitter.
He makes it easy for us, though. He makes it easy for us.
So easy. 9 letters. 4 for my first name, 5 for my last. It's simple.
All right, Aaron. As always, man. Thank you. Have a great week. Okay.
Thank you, man. Same to you.
All right. Right back after this.
Tell me why every time she comes around, my head starts spinning. Is there something going on? Or maybe I'm just tripping. But there's this one thing that's got me tempest tossed. But I don't want this to be another love that's lost. Because I can't sleep at night, and thoughts keep running through my mind. I don't know the reason why, so I'll hide my tears inside so you won't see me cry. I don't have a reason. 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 Maybe it's the way you look at her when she walks by, or the stare that you carry when you look in her eyes. But I don't wanna be the one to make something out of nothing. But my heart keeps telling me it's probably something. 'Cause I can't sleep at night. Thoughts keep running through my mind.
Well, that's our show tonight. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Glad to be back. Shout out again to Marian Hatcher for joining us and telling her inspiring story. Listen, everyone, have a great week. We're back next week with a new show. God bless and good night.
Tonight is all eyes on me. Everything's gonna be alright. And when we get there, I'ma see a pretty young thing. I'ma ask her to take my hand. Head to the floor, we gon' dance. And when we get there, best believe we're gonna do a two-step. Ain't no drama in here, so don't stress. Step to the right, then side to the